Okay, so today we're going to discuss about internationalization and benchmarking. No, internationalization has become a central strategy for higher education institution and public organizations seeking to remain competitive in an increasingly interconnected world. No, it involves expanding academic, research, and organizational capabilities, no, or capacities rather, beyond national borders to engage meaningfully with global partners, no, standards and best practices. As institutions confront rapid technological change, evolving workforce expectation, and heightened quality assurance demands, internationalization provides a pathway to elevate programs, strengthen institutional reputation, and create broader opportunities for students, the faculty, and our administrators. Benchmarking, on the other hand, complements internationalization by enabling institutions to systematically compare their policies, programs, and performance outcomes against recognized global leaders. Now, through benchmarking, organizations gain clever insights into where they stand, what needs improvement, and which international standards can guide strategic transformation. When combined, internationalization and benchmarking form a powerful framework that drives innovation, foster accountability, and encourage continuous learning. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Doc, for the overview of my topic. Siguro, pwede na tayong umuwi. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So my topic is about the internationalization and benchmarking. In today's interconnected world, education systems are increasingly shaped by global trends. Two major forces influencing modern educational development are internationalization and benchmarking. Internationalization focuses on the integrating global perspective, education, while benchmarking offers a ways to compare performance across countries or institutions. So what is the internationalization in education? So it refers to the process of integrating an international, intercultural, or global dimension into the purpose, functions, and delivery of education. For example, the students exchange programs allow students to study in another country for a semester or a year, gaining international exposure. Next, let's dive to relevance. So what are the relevance of internationalization in education? Number one is the knowledge production. International research partnership enhance innovation and academic quality. Next is the mobility of students and staff. International exchange programs, cross-border research collaborations, and global academic networks create opportunities for learning beyond national borders. And third is the cultural enrichment. Cultural enrichment, exposure to diverse cultures, fosters tolerance, global citizenships, and broadens students' worldviews. And last is the global workforce demands. Employers increasingly seek with global awareness, intercultural communication skills, and adaptability. Next, what are the impacts of the internationalization in education? Number one is the curriculum transformation. Curriculum transformation, incorporation of global issues, multilingual education, and comparative studies. So, the institution revised or adapt or redesign this curriculum to meet international standards, global competencies, and cross-cultural learning needs. Example, infusion or global themes into subject like social studies include international issues like world cultures. Next is the economic benefits. Countries hosting international students boost their economies through tuition, tourism, and skilled migration. So, in economic benefits, increase institutional income. International students typically pay higher tuition fees. Third, institutional reputation. Institutional reputation, universities gain prestige through international partnership and high numbers of international students. Higher ranking, for example, higher ranking improve the school prestige locally and abroad. And number 4 is the equity challenges. Equity challenges, internationalization may widen gaps between well-funded institutions able to internationalize and those with fewer resources. So, unequal access to internationalization opportunities in, for example, in unequal access to international opportunities, in many schools or universities, only students from higher income families can afford to participate in international programs such as study abroad or exchange programs and global certification courses. Next, let's dive to benchmarking. Benchmarking in education involves comparing educational practices, performance, and outcomes against established standards, other institution, or international assessment. What are the relevance of benchmarking in education? Number 1 is the accountability. The governments and institutions use benchmarking data to assess system effectiveness. For example, a country received its PISA results, and sees that its students scored low in reading. So the education ministry publicly reports the findings and requires school district to submit improvements, or the division to submit improvements to raise literacy rates. And second is the policy reforms. Policy reforms benchmarks results often drive changes in curriculum, teacher training, and resource allocation. So after, for example, after the themes or the trends in international mathematics and science study shows that the grade 8 or the grade 4 students perform poorly in math, a government decide to renew the math curriculum, offer mandatory training for math teacher, and increase funding for STEM programs. Next is the quality assurance. Quality assurance benchmarks help identify strengths and weaknesses within educational system. So, a university, for example, a university compares its graduation rates and board exam performance to other top universities when it finds its passing rate is lower. So, to increase a tutoring program and strength and increases a tutoring program. Okay. Next relevance and benchmarking is the global competitiveness. Countries use benchmarking to position themselves in the global education landscape. So, for example, the school benchmark with a high-performing school that score above national and international standards. So, the teacher will observe math classes. For example, in math subject, the teacher observed math classes in the high-performing school. And next is the impacts of the benchmarking in education. Okay. Number one is the improve educational outcomes. So improve educational outcomes will use benchmarking, can promote evidence-based reforms that strengthen learning performance. Third is the motivation. Second is the motivation for innovation. So poor results can push policymakers to experiment with new methods or adapt best practices from high-performing countries. And third is the standardization pressures. So systems may narrow curriculum or curricula to focus on tested subject and skill. So, example, pressure to align curriculum with international assessment like PISA and TIMSS. So, another one is the Program for International Student Assessment. And fourth is the risk of oversimplification. So, over-reliance on quantitative indicators may ignore local context, creativity, and holistic education. So, when the benchmarking oversimplification, it occurs when school compares themselves to other institution using only a few easily measurable indicators, ignoring the broader context or qualitative factors. Okay, so now, okay, so conclusion na tayo. Okay, so for the conclusion of internationalization and benchmarking are powerful forces reshaping education worldwide. Internationalization enriches the learning environment, prepares students for global citizenship, while benchmarking provides data-driven insight that can enhance educational quality. So their combined influence is both constructive and challenging. So they promote excellence, innovation, and global engagement, but also raise concerns about inequality, cultural homogenization, and the narrowing of educational priorities. Okay, so word for thought for tonight: internationalization broadens our vision while benchmarking sharpens our focus. Daghang salamat. Okay, sir. That's all.
Okay, so in the context of higher education, internationalization can take many forms. No, student and faculty mobility, joint degree programs, no, cross-border research collaboration, no, global curriculum integration, and participation in international rankings or innovation frameworks such as WURI or QS. And this engagement exposed institution to diverse academic cultures, no, and emerging global trends while enhancing graduate, no, employability. Through embracing internationalization, institutions like UCC, no, World City, Lyceum of Tingloy, and other Philippine higher educations can strengthen their relevance in the global knowledge economy. No? So benchmarking plays a vital role, no, in ensuring that internationalization efforts are effective and strategic by comparing institutional processes with international models with their ABET or computing program, ISO 21001 for educational management system, or global accreditation bodies. No, organizations gain concrete metrics for performance and quality improvement, no, industry partnership and governance, no, enabling data-driven decisions and calibrated reforms. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, no, benchmarking allows leaders to identify gaps, no, in curriculum design, no, research productivity, industry partnership, and governance, enabling data-driven decision and calibrated reforms. A key advantages of benchmarking is its ability to promote a culture of excellence. No? When institutions adopt international indicators, they begin to shift from compliance-driven operations to outcomes-driven performance. And this shift motivates faculty, staff, and administrator to innovate, no? Experiment with new technologies, and adopt best practices that elevate students' learning outcomes and organizational efficiency. Because benchmarking also makes institutions more resilient by revealing weaknesses early, helping leaders anticipate challenges before they become systemic. Internationalization and benchmarking also support leadership development, workforce capacity building, no, and institutional modernization. Exposure to global networks encourages leaders and faculty to refine their perspectives, engage with diverse governance models, and adopt practices that strengthen organizational agility. So moreover, benchmarking against international frameworks supports accreditation readiness, strategic planning, and operational excellence. Critical components for universities seeking sustainability in long-term competitiveness. So to sum up, internationalization expands institutional horizon by fostering cross-border collaboration, elevating academic standards, and enriching the learning environment for students and faculty, because it provides the foundation for building globally competent graduates who are capable of navigating diverse professional environments. No? Meanwhile, benchmarking ensures that these efforts are measurable, strategic, and aligned with world-class standards. No? Together, no, internationalization and benchmarking from a cohesive strategy that empowers institutions to transform their system, improve educational quality, and strengthen global positioning. Through embracing these two interconnected approaches, organizations can establish a forward-looking culture grounded in innovation, continuous improvement, and accountability. Factors essential for success in today's rapidly evolving global landscape. Okay, so that's it.